Have you ever had that moment when you suddenly realize that everything might be meaningless, that all your hard work, relationships, and ambitions could be as fleeting as a dream? This is nihilism, the belief that life lacks inherent meaning. Today, we're diving deep into this controversial philosophy, breaking down its ideas, and exploring if there's any hope in all this seeming emptiness. Nihilism often starts with a feeling, a thought, a haunting whisper that everything we do doesn't really matter. From ancient Greek skeptics to modern-day thinkers like Friedrich Nietzsche, philosophers have wrestled with this concept for centuries. But let's back up for a second. What actually is nihilism? At its core, it's the rejection of any objective meaning, purpose, or value in life. Nihilism says there is no grand design, no divine plan, only a chaotic universe. For some, this idea is terrifying. The idea that our jobs, our struggles, even our deepest relationships might have no ultimate purpose. But let's slow down. If you really think about it, nihilism is both liberating and daunting. Have you ever stood still, just long enough, to feel the weight of the universe? The stars above, so endless and indifferent, make you wonder, does any of this truly matter? This is the question nihilism dares to ask. Today, we'll explore this provocative philosophy and discover if meaninglessness is truly the end or a new beginning. Nihilism isn't new. For centuries, philosophers have wrestled with the unsettling idea that life might lack inherent meaning. From ancient skeptics to modern thinkers like Friedrich Nietzsche, they've asked, what do we do if the foundations of our beliefs crumble? But to understand nihilism, we need to break it down into its core ideas, its building blocks that challenge how we see the world. First, existential nihilism. It says that life, at its deepest level, lacks inherent meaning or purpose. In a universe so vast where stars are born and die without notice, our existence can feel like a fleeting moment, insignificant in the grand scheme. But here's where the perspective shifts. Imagine a book with no pre-written story. It's daunting, yes, but also freeing. You have the power to write your own narrative or leave the pages empty. The choice is yours. Next, moral nihilism. This challenges the idea that morality is universal or absolute. Across cultures, what's considered right or wrong shifts dramatically. Moral nihilism asks, if morality is so fluid, can it ever truly be fixed? Who defines morality and why? Instead of blindly following rigid codes, moral nihilism invites us to ask deeper questions, to think critically rather than simply accept. Finally, political nihilism. It rejects established social structures, viewing them as artificial constructs. Throughout history, revolutions have echoed this sentiment, dismantling systems that no longer serve the people, from monarchies to oppressive regimes. But political nihilism isn't just about destruction, it's about rebuilding. It's the idea that sometimes to move forward, we must first dismantle. These ideas, existential, moral, and political, aren't just abstract theories. They challenge us to rethink what we value, how we live, and how we shape the world around us. If nothing is predetermined, what would you create? When you hear the word nihilism, what comes to mind? Despair? Chaos? Perhaps even destruction? But is that really what nihilism is about? Contrary to popular belief, nihilism doesn't drag you into hopelessness. It's not a philosophy of giving up. It's a philosophy of letting go. Letting go of societal expectations, rigid beliefs, and the pressure to conform to someone else's idea of purpose. Nihilism can be freeing. When you realize that meaning isn't handed to you, you gain the power to create your own, to define life on your own terms. Another common misconception? That nihilists are emotionless or destructive. But nihilism doesn't erase emotions, it acknowledges them. It doesn't advocate chaos, it challenges structure. In fact, many nihilists find joy and fulfillment by embracing life's fleeting moments. Without the weight of imposed meaning, every moment becomes yours to shape, to make of it what you will. Nihilism isn't the absence of life, it's the chance to live it authentically, free from the chains of pretense. The question isn't whether meaning exists, it's how you create your own. Nihilism may seem abstract at first, but its influence is all around us, woven into art, media, and even the way we approach life today. In art, nihilism sparked movements like surrealism and postmodernism. These artistic styles reject traditional rules, embracing the unpredictable. They invite us to see beauty in disorder, to find meaning in chaos. Artists use these movements to challenge what we think of as normal. They ask us, who decides what's real, what's meaningful? In media, nihilism takes center stage in films like Fight Club and The Big Lebowski. These stories confront the absurdity of modern life, showing characters who abandon societal norms to carve their own paths. These characters show us that embracing the meaningless doesn't mean giving up. It means breaking free from expectations and living authentically. On a personal level, nihilism can inspire us to find meaning in our own values. Without a predefined purpose, every choice becomes an act of creation, whether it's pursuing passions, building relationships, or simply enjoying the present moment. So, whether it's in art, media, or your own daily life, nihilism isn't just about questioning, it's about creating. The slate is blank, and the question is, what will you choose to build from it? If nothing was predetermined, if life were a blank canvas, what meaning would you create? In the end, nihilism isn't about losing meaning. It's about the freedom to define it for yourself, to craft your own narrative, one choice at a time. So, what story will you write? What meaning will you create? Share your thoughts with us below, and let's explore this journey together. Thank you for watching, and remember, meaning isn't something to find. Sometimes it's something to make.